Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell by the title of this video, today's tutorial is going to be all about contouring and highlight. That's why I started today's video with just foundation, concealer and my eyebrows, and I want to get straight to it. So if you want to know how I went from this to this, just keep on watching. Okay. So the point of the contour is to create some type of shadow, to alter the shape of your face in some type of way, whether it's add dimension, make something look smaller, make something look bigger, make something look more round. I'm gonna use the ABH Screen Contour Kit palette. This is in the shade medium, and I mix two of the darker shades. I mix cinnamon and chocolate right here. I like to apply it first on my forehead. And I go, it's kind of like an open C shape like this. I have a pretty big forehead and I like to make it smaller. That's why I like to contour my forehead. And I like to contour and get as close to the hairline as you can when you're blending it, to make sure there's no pale skin in between basically. And then I go and I do my cheekbone. I don't know if it shows in camera, but I actually have like a naturally sculpted face. I don't know if you can see, there's like a shadow coming down from here. And when you're contouring, that's kind of what you want to aim for. You want to aim for shadows that alter the shape of your face or that sculpt the shape of your face, but you want them to look natural. My shadow is going down like so because that makes my face look even longer, and I want my face to look a little bit more round. So I go horizontally like so. If you are the opposite, if your face is more round and you want to make it look longer, you can go down a little bit more instead of going horizontally. You can put a little bit here in your jawline and then bring it down like that to make your jawline a little bit more sculpted. And if you have like a double chin, it's good to contour like this because it's gonna minimize the appearance of your double chin. Does that really work? Then after I contour the face, I like to go and contour the nose. So I take the same flat concealer brush and I do like this with the fingers, just to make it extra flat and more precise when I do the nose. Let me get a little bit closer so you can see better. And I like to start drawing two parallel lines on the top of my nose. So I start at the beginning of my eyebrows. And the more to the middle that you apply it, the more thin or snatch your nose is going to look like. But you don't want to go too much because then it's going to look a little bit fake. Now I'm going to do the other side, same thing. And then I do the tip of the nose. So I like to draw a flat line here first. And then I connect this one, the tip, to the top basically. But then I also draw a line here because I want to accentuate this area of my nose. I know it doesn't look exactly symmetrical, and the reason is because of the actual shape of my nose. If you're drawing lines on top of a surface that's not flat, it's a lot harder to get it very symmetrical. So yours may not look exactly the same, but then once you blend it, it's supposed to look like a nice shadow that's going to make your nose look smaller. It doesn't have to look like two straight lines. Nobody's nose is that perfect like that unless they got surgery. So once I contour the nose, then I like to contour my eyelids. So what I like to do with my eyelids, I like to give this area a little lift. So I like to apply contour on this area here. And I like to extend it a little bit to connect it to the forehead contour. This is gonna give your eyes a more lifted effect, and you will see later when we highlight under the eyes, it's gonna accentuate this contour that we're doing on top. And then the last thing to contour, of course, is the lips. Sometimes I do it with a lip liner, and sometimes I like to do it with the contour. So I'm going to show you how to do it with the contour. So the same thing, you take the flat concealer brush with the product in it, you slide your fingers right through it so it becomes really, really flat. And I just start to outline the lips a little bit and overlining them a little bit. And I like to accentuate my cupid's bow, and you can do that by creating a cross across your lips. And then draw a line right in the middle of your bottom lip, just to accentuate that. Okay, Okay, so I already applied all the cream contour. Now I'm going to highlight. So I use a lighter shade to highlight, and this one is the Bonus Way Concealer in the shade Shortbread. The areas that I personally like to highlight is obviously under my eyes, especially the inner corner here. This area right here tends to create a lot of shadow for me. The highlight is kind of the opposite of the contour. The contour is meant to create shadows and sculpt your face, while the highlight is meant to bring light to the area. Well, the highlight is meant to highlight the areas where there's shadows. And I also want to highlight this area here, a little bit in the center of my forehead, the bridge of my nose, as well as the tip, my chin a little bit, maybe a little bit here around my smile line. I like to highlight here to give me more of a sculpted look, and then I like to highlight the center of my face. When you're actually contouring at home by yourself, you don't have to put it all over the face and then blend it. You can blend it as you apply it. And I like to use this brush by e.l.f. This is a Flawless Conceal brush. I like the shape of it, and it's very easy to go in circular motions. And it blends very nicely any cream products. And when you're blending, make sure you're kind of like tapping it into your skin, just so that it doesn't remove any foundation or anything. You have to know your features. You have to know what do you like about your face, what don't you like about your face. If your forehead is too big and you want to make it smaller, then you do more contour. If your forehead is too small and you want to make it bigger, then you go ahead with a little bit more highlight. If your face is more round, you draw more vertical lines. If your face is more long, then you draw more horizontal lines. You want to make a balance in between. Make sure you take your time blending. It's gonna take some experience, so you can know you don't want to blend too much to the point where the product disappears, but you don't want to be able to see where it starts and where it ends either. It should just melt into your skin basically. And the contour of my eyelids, I like to take it out, extend it out to my temples. And I like to blend the contour, the nose contour, the same way that I apply it. It started at the beginning of the brows, blending it downwards like so. Now the nose contour is going to take more work because it's a small area, and you have to be a little bit more precise, and you have to take a little bit longer to blend it if you want it to look really good and natural. Well, not necessarily natural, you know. You know what I mean. 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 If you're going for a day look, you better blend that shit, because it's gonna show a natural lighting and it's gonna show really harsh. But if it's for a night look, it's fine. And then right under my eyes, I actually like to go with a sponge, because the sponge has the perfect shape. If you go jam with the contour and then you don't know how to make it look, you can actually go with a powder brush like this one. This is a powder brush by e.l.f. This is the e.l.f. pointed powder brush. And put a little bit of foundation on your hand. Just take just a little bit and just pat it over the contour and the highlight. Just merge all the products together. And a powder brush like this one will actually give you a nice airbrush finish. So you can do a regular foundation brush like this one, but the powder brush is more soft, so I like this one better for that trick. Now it's time to set everything. Once you blend, and make sure you don't have any creases. Just make sure you blend everything properly, because once you set, it won't move. The shade won't move, okay? So I like to use the RCMA powder. This is a translucent one. And I like to take a little bit with a brush, tap off any excess. And then I like to start first under my eyes so that my eyes don't crease. And I like to gently press it into my skin. I like to also set my eyelids because they crease a lot. So I target certain areas with a smaller brush, and then I do the rest with a bigger brush. So I'm just setting the rest of my face. Again, I'm pressing it into my skin just to set everything. If you drag it like this, you're gonna remove some of that coverage. But when you press it into it, you layer in that powder on top of that. I did the cream contour and I set everything with powder. Now it's time to do powder contour. This one is one of my favorites. I actually got this at the Dollar Tree. The brand is called Beauty Benefits Hollywood Contour Palette. You know, it comes in a really cheap packaging, but the product inside is actually not bad. I like this contour shade right here because it's very cool. So it has like the ashy tone to it, which creates a nice shadow. I'm gonna take an angle brush like this one. This one is by Wet n Wild. When I'm contouring my cheeks, I like to start here. This is where I want most of the product and most of the intensity, and then I bring it downwards like so. And then the forehead, of course. And then this is bringing back that contour that kind of faded out when you blended everything together. And it also sets that contour into place, which will help it last longer throughout the day. So make sure you top off the excess and you start little by little building that shade up. And this contour, this darker contour shade is going to be my transition shade for my eyeshadow. And I extend it out, outwards. And this blush is by Clinique in the shade Heather Pop. I love blush. So I like to start applying it here, which is where I want the most intensity. And when I apply the brush, I kind of overlap with the contour, but I take it a little bit higher. And then I blend it upwards like so. Now it's time to actually bake. I like to bake for two very specific reasons. One, because I'm very oily and I want to keep certain areas, especially the T-zone, under control. And two, because there are certain areas that I want to enhance or highlight even more. I want to enhance the blush on the contour that I did on my cheekbones, and you can go with a wet sponge, take a little bit of powder, and then pack it into your cheekbones like so. So once you let it sit into the skin, that's going to highlight this area where you're applying it, and that's going to enhance the blush on the contour even more. And then I like to apply it on my T-zone because I'm oily. And then I also like to put it under my eyes, not only to highlight but also to protect the area under my eyes from any potential fallout when I do the foundation before doing the eyes. Alright guys, so I'm going to do the rest of my face off camera and I'll be right back. So now after I did my eyes, I'm trying to clean up any fallouts that I had on my face. Now I'm going to put some setting spray and do the highlight.
Eight hours later.
I was looking very powdery, so I put a lot of setting spray. Please don't judge me. This one's by Estee Lauder in the shade Heat Wave. It's my favorite. Actually, look around here. But it was looking very dry after the baking, so. And I also like to apply the highlighter on the inner corner of my eyes. And under my brow bone, just a little more. Don't be shy, put some more. Don't be shy. Now I'm going to do lips. So first I'm going to use the lip liner. This one is from the brand b.s.n. and this is in the shade Brick. This is a liquid lipstick from and then I'm gonna go with Coral Corruption from Wet n Wild. This is a matte liquid lipstick. Well guys, that was it for today's video. This is the final look. What do you guys think? It's very tropical. I also made a video on the eyes, but I didn't want this video to be too long. If you like the eye look, I made a separate video on that. I will link it down below as soon as I upload it. I use the Glam Light Cake palette. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you next time.